Hello there! This is LEGO Dynasty, and today I'm bringing you guys my review of the LEGO Star Wars Ambush on Ferrix. It is set number 75338, comes with 679 pieces, and is rated ages 9 and up. Now this set, of course, is from the first season of Andor, which is a great Star Wars series on Disney+. It's definitely some of the best Star Wars that Disney has released to date, and this set was very prominently inspired by the first 3 episodes, or specifically episode 3 of the series. Now this set retails in the United States for $69.99 and in Canada for $89.99. Now without further ado, let's kick off this review starting with the box. So as you can see, the box has very nice scenery from Ferrix specifically. Obviously the set is Ambush on Ferrix, so you can really see the nice buildings in the background with the set featured prominently. Now when we first saw this set, there was a lot of, I don't want to say backlash, but confusion, as the trailers made the set seem big, or the ship itself seem bigger than it was. But the actual set actually ended up being a pretty good size for what we get in the show. Overall, I think LEGO did a great job, and of course it also includes the speeder bike, which again was also seen at the end of episode 3. Back of the box shows some of the features of the set, being able to lift the wings up, open the set to reveal what is inside, and some action sequences of the characters fighting off Serial Karn. Now before we get into the minifigures, here's the manual. It is of course the newer style manuals that is the rendered image rather than the actual image of the set, which is disappointing, as we are used to get the box art. Back the page shows some of the summer releases, of course. And then here in this baggie, you can see some of the extra pieces you get in the set. So you get a pretty good mix of studs and other Technic beams, along with a brick separator included as extras. Now, taking a look at our first minifigure, we have Cassian Andor, who of course is the main character of Andor, and of course was also featured in the movie Rogue One. And this is his season 1 outfit that we see him in the first 3 episode sort of arc of the show. And as you can see, great printed detail, goes to dual molded, goes all the way from the torso down to the legs and belt printing there, which looks excellent. There is no arm or side leg printing. You can see the nice back printing there. He does have a dual molded face with him more, I guess, shooting face. And the back, you can kind of make out what the back printing looks like. Looks good there. And he's got the sort of space police pistol that LEGO has. Now the next minifigure we will be taking a look at is Luthen Rail, who was one of the standout characters from Andor Season 1. Now, one of the things I want to bring up when talking about this minifigure is how similar he does look to the Tobias Beckett minifigure from Solo, as you can see here. It's going to be up to you if you feel like it's too similar or not. It's obviously a slightly different print, but I just think the torso print looks very similar there. Now, looking at the minifigure on its own, it definitely has very nice printed detail, with the torso print going all the way down to the legs and belt printing, which looks very nice, very good printing, and the tan green does look very nice. He's got some nice back printing there with the hood there, no arm or leg printing, as you can see, or side leg printing, I mean. Overall, he's a very good looking minifigure. And he does have a double-sided face print, as you can see there, looking a bit more, I don't know if you'd call it stern, but he's definitely got some nice features about him. And he comes with one of these LEGO pistols as well, which, if it focuses, looks good with him. Now our next minifigure is Serial Karn in his sort of officer outfit, as the Empire outsourced security and policing to other sectors at the beginning of the show. But of course, after what Andor causes on Ferrix, it basically causes him to lose his job. So slight spoilers for Andor. But it's been out for a while now, especially the first 3 episodes. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you go see it. And Serial is a great character in the show. The printing on this is pretty decent, especially on the torso. Would have been nice to see some leg printing there. The back printing looks great, and because of his cap, he does not have dual molded or double-sided face print. Now, the only disappointment is we did not get more of the sort of officer characters that Serial works with, because I feel like if we got one other minifigure, whether it was the sort of deputy that he was working with, or any of the other sort of characters that could pilot the ship instead of Serial, it would have been a little bit better. Because we see in the show there's about 8 of them during this scene, if not more. And they're all kind of working together to find Cassian Andor. So having more of these characters would have been cool. Now, taking a look at the first sort of build of the set, we have the speeder bike that Andor and Luthen escape on during the sort of climax of the 3rd episode. And it actually looks very good in comparison to what we see in the show, I gotta say. It uses some great techniques, using this sort of lasso to wrap around to look like wires crossing. The front of it, you can see you have space for both Cassian and Luthen, which will show in a moment. So you can fit them on top. As you can see, just like that, as they're ready to go, and kind of escaping the, I believe it's the Primo security that Serial Karn works for at the beginning of the show. So they can zoom off. It's got some, it doesn't really have any like nice smooth pieces, but it still can slide pretty well, and it's very stable. And by that I mean like it's not going to tip over unless you make it tip over. It goes pretty decently. Now, it doesn't like have wheels or anything, so it's not like fully smooth. Like, it will stop right away if you push it or anything like that. But in terms of playability and imagination, I'm sure kids would love this. You can whoosh it around, no issues with that. And yeah. Now, taking a look at the ship, which is called the Mobile Attack Pod, which is an Imperial craft, very closely resembles the Republic gunship, which is why a lot of people, when they saw it in the trailers, thought it would actually be bigger than it is. Now, this isn't perfectly in scale, but it's actually pretty decent scale-wise to what we see in the show, as they would carry a slightly larger squad, but for what LEGO designed here, I think they did a pretty good job. And it looks very Imperial, which is kind of what it's supposed to look like. It has some great detail here. It has the nice printed plaque for the windshield piece there, which is great. You can see some of the other sticker details right here and here and here. Really adds to how it looks. You have the cannon that fully is 360-degree spinnable, which also includes some stud shooters, which you can, of course, fire off as usual. The back of the set has the nice thrusters, which look pretty decent as well. And you can pop open the back, which doesn't really reveal anything, but you can sort of play around and imagine. But there is a small, and I mean very small, armory. There's just one extra pistol here. There's no like rifles or anything, which is a little bit disappointing. And it's why I wish they included one other security officer to be with Serial, along with included perhaps a rifle of some sort. Now, there's other sticker detail that mirrors what's on the other side, as you can see there. And you can fully open on all corners there. You can even tilt the cannon up like so to reveal what is inside. And inside you have 4 little seats, along with a 5th, like a pilot chair for a cockpit, for you to have someone drive. And also, again, why I feel like the set is missing something, an extra figure to either be the pilot or have Serial be the pilot, and then someone else either like shooting out of the ship or chasing down Andor and Luthen. It just, with all this extra room to place characters, would have been nice to have extra characters to put inside it. You consider the AT-TE set that had the extra clone troopers, more so than we've gotten in the past in clone-based sets, but it allowed you to fill your AT-TE, and I feel like had they included 1, maybe even 2 extra security officers in those blue uniforms to go into the set, would have really both enhanced the set in terms of its price, as the set was priced quite highly and is definitely was one of the biggest drawbacks of the set, and also would have been just made a little bit more sense, especially since we see Cyril on the ground in the show chasing after Andor and Luthen, while having other characters drive these ships. But looking inside, you can see we do have a little fire extinguisher there, which is just a simple build. Wonder if one day LEGO will just design a fire extinguisher, or if they'll keep going to these brick-built ones to represent it, which fits on this stud right here. And then you also have this nice little chest here, which you can pull out. And inside it, you have some extra studs or ammunition, in this case, for your weapons. And again, it just goes right where that little sort of stud is right there, just fits right on top. Now, like I said, you have the room for Cyril to pilot the ship. And you can see some nice sticker detail here on these pieces to represent the control panels. As you can see, this cockpit does sort of fall loosely. It's not like it doesn't lock in place, so that can be kind of annoying but it's only really an issue when I'm trying to show it off. You can see the nice sticker detail on the right there, and then there's slightly different ones, sort of obscured by Cyril's pistol on the left, but I'll just move that. And you can kind of see it right there. If I move the camera or the set too much, yeah, you can see it really good right there. And then you see it kind of pops out. That's sort of a minor thing. It only really is a big deal when I'm trying to show off what's inside. Now the set is very sturdy. I gotta say, like, it doesn't feel very flimsy, like it's gonna fall apart. It's very thick, so you have that going for it. And one of the other features is you can move these sort of wings up, which is how it locks in, because it originally comes off of like a transport ship and then is released outwards and then goes into flight mode. So you can sort of reenact that aspect. Of course, we don't have the sort of ship that it's supposed to fly out of, but you could sort of imagine or even build your own version, I'm sure. Now the mobile attack pod, like I said, is meant to evoke the Republic gunship, but it's not meant to be the same as a Republic gunship in size. The biggest drawbacks of this set would have to simply be its price at launch, which, like I said, was $89.99 Canadian or $69.99 US. Now, of course, the set has already been out for a few months, and we've already seen it go on sale. I believe in Canada, I believe I've seen it for around $70, and I'm sure in the US it's dropped below $50. So when you get it on sale, I think you're getting a far better value, especially at 679 pieces. But even then, I think the other big drawback is the lack of an additional minifigure or two, specifically of these Primo security guards. That, I think, really hurts the set, because there's definitely room for them. It's like they designed it to have them and then decided not to include them, perhaps because they would have added to the price of the set. But even then, having an additional minifigure or two, I think, would have really helped the set as a whole, because you're not going to buy several of these just to fill out this one ship, you know? Perhaps you'll be someone that will buy minifigures online off of Bricklink, but at the end of the day, that's a very small subsection of LEGO fans that do that. And at a certain point, if that becomes the case, then the minifigure goes up in value. So it just feels like if it included two of these minifigures, specifically just to have them in these sort of outfits, would have been good, because then you could have Cyril, you know, chasing after Andor and Luthen, and then another driver of the set going after from above, kind of like what we see in the show. Now, so far this is the only Andor set, and I do hope we will see some. It doesn't look like we'll get any in the summer wave, but who knows? You never know. They could always pivot and design a set on one of the future episodes for sure. But for the time being, this is the only Andor set, and I definitely think it's worth picking up, especially if you're a fan of Andor, which again I highly recommend. It's definitely some of my favorite Star Wars I've watched in the past few years. With that being said, that's all my opinion. So let me know your guys' thoughts on the LEGO Star Wars Ambush on Ferrix. Are you guys planning on picking up this set, or have you already gotten it? And what were your thoughts on Andor? Let me know in the comments down below. Please leave a like and subscribe if you have enjoyed, and have a great day, everyone.